Hello everyone, it's Micah. Welcome to our 1980s reaction series where we are going through each of the number one songs of the 1980s. We are up to May of 1981, where Sheena Easton had a number one song for 2 weeks on the Billboard Hot 100 with Morning Train. In the US, the song was known as Morning Train. When it was originally released in her native UK, I think she's actually Scottish to be more precise, the song was called 9 to 5, but in February of 1981, Dolly Parton had a little ditty that went number one and an accompanying movie, and that song sort of usurped Sheena Easton's title, and they didn't want to have they didn't want there to be any confusion, so instead of calling it 9 to 5 in the US, they called it Morning Train. This was Sheena Easton's breakthrough hit in the US. I think it might have been her breakthrough hit in her native UK as well, but I do know that it was the start of a very long chart run for Sheena. She consistently had big hits on the Hot 100 all the way through the early 90s, and that's a heck of a lot longer run than most people have. I still kind of tend to think of her as being a relative flash in the pan, but that's really not the case. I think maybe because of the degree of success she had early on, especially with this breakthrough hit going number one and being such a big hit, I just maybe thought she was going to stick around forever. She had all of the components. She was beautiful. She had a very strong voice. She gave personality and sass and attitude, and she evolved throughout her career. This was before Madonna. This was before Janet Jackson. This is before a lot of the icons that we currently reference when we think about career transformation, evolving from project to project. And she was really doing it before some of the other ladies that we talk about, notably Madonna. She was actively tinkering with her image, or who knows, maybe it was the record company more so tinkering with her image. Actually, it's probably well documented. I just don't know. At any rate, Sheena Easton was a very interesting singer to watch throughout the 80s, and this was the beginning of it all. This is 9 to 5. Let's listen.
Work
I don't think I've ever seen that video all the way through, and I imagine that if I ever did start watching the video, I probably may have turned it off. It's a very low budget video. It's a very conceptually simple video, and it's like what I've been saying about 1981. This is when people had video equipment to shoot music videos, but they didn't necessarily quite understand how to harness the power of the visual medium as much. Yes, I'm being a little snarky about this video, but I think anyone involved, including Sheena Easton, would admit that there was some this video is pretty elementary from a lot of standpoints. I don't want to dwell on the video because I do want to mainly react to the song, but the idea of the morning train merely being a means of transport to get her man to his job and back, and making it more the focus of the song visually, and implying that her love interest is the actual conductor of the train. It's a little cheesy, and we'll just leave it at that. Yeah, the video is intentionally kind of campy and cute. I think I've said this about a number of videos that I've seen from 1980 and 81. But I mean, they could make really good music videos at the time. I think Rapture was a good video. Rock With You by Michael Jackson is a perfectly good music video. There were good videos that came out during this time, but we just weren't quite at the golden age of music videos yet. Everyone was still getting their footing about how to do these things, and this to me was not one of the better efforts of early music videos. But in the sense that it helped to promote the song and helped to go number one, it apparently did its job. As terms of the song, I'm a little ambivalent about the song as well. The song seems to be, and it's very difficult to gauge the throwback-o-meter when you're already dealing with something that's older. But I do kind of feel like this song, when it came out in 81, was a throwback to a 60s, maybe even 50s doo-wop girl group aesthetic. And I think this, perhaps the lyrics of the song also reflect a little bit more of a naive, traditional, I'm waiting for my man to come home from work so we can be all lovey-dovey with each other. I don't know if this was how intentional, how tongue-in-cheek it was. Sheena would come across as much more aggressive, less coy, more overtly sexual. Although there's some risque references in this song, it's all kind of couched in this sort of demure, housewifey kind of persona that she's adopting for the purpose of this song. So I don't know if that was just her inhabiting a persona, or if she really was going full throttle in her debut album, which I have not heard. I have not heard the album that this is from, and like how the other songs stack up. But to a certain degree, knowing Sheena Easton's later output, I tend to think that she was more or less inhabiting a character, or perhaps the whole song was just tongue-in-cheek, and she was kind of in on the joke. But at any rate, the song, to me, the verses are a little choppy and predictable in terms of their melodic structure. It sounds kind of chanty and obvious, like something you would hear at a sports event. To me, the real star here is the chorus, and even though it's kind of broad and obvious in terms of its melody as well, it's really catchy, and it does inspire a sing-along atmosphere, I guess. And throughout it all, though, the clear star here for me is Sheena Easton's voice. There's this bracing kind of, and I don't even really know how to describe it. It's just Sheena Easton's voice. There's kind of almost like a wail to her voice that is so distinctive, and not a wail in like an unpleasant way. It's just I'm not doing a good job describing it, and Amir's not helping either. Why are you distracting me? It's his fault. It's all his fault. Sheena Easton just sounds like Sheena Easton, and it's a great tone, and I know that doesn't sound like the most complimentary thing in the world, but it's a distinctive Sheena Easton wail, and I really enjoy it. And to me, the vocals are what saved this song and may keep it from being too too drecky, too pat, too schmaltzy. So it's an enjoyable song. It's a great artifact, and it's with Sheena Easton's first big hit. So it's culturally significant because Sheena Easton was a pretty big deal in the 80s, and so it's good to revisit that. We're gonna move on to our next number one song, so stay tuned for that in the next reaction video, which will be released in about a week from whenever you happen to see that this one was released. And until then, if you like this video, please hit the like button, and you may subscribe to the channel if you feel so inclined, and also make music better.